So it's not only the Czech Republic that's renowned for making the best Pilsner, even though they can claim it's theirs originally. Germany makes Pilsners too, so let's find out what one's like right now. Hey, welcome back to Views on Brews. I'm Brendan, and this is a Pilsner from Stortebeker Brewery, which is just east of Rostock on the northern coast of Germany. And this beer has been sent to me by Jürgen Tusk, and he lives in Rostock, and so this brewery is not too far away from him. And he's given me this to try along with a few other beers and a nice glass to match. So we are gonna try a German Pilsner, and I thought it'd be interesting to find out, just what the differences are between a German and a Czech Pilsner. Usually from Czech Pilsners, I'm expecting slightly more malty, slightly more depth of malt character to them, a bit more herbal, a bit more earthy, whereas I'm expecting a German Pilsner to be a lot more lighter in colour, therefore a lot less malty, maybe just the Pilsner malt on its own, and a bit more bitter perhaps, and maybe a bit more grainier, a bit more grassier, and just a little bit more lighter in body as well. I'm expecting, because it's lighter, that the hop presence will sort of be more pronounced, but I might be wrong in saying that. But certainly it should be a little bit more bitter, or I'd be able to perceive the bitterness more because there's less malt getting in the way. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's try this beer out. Now, I've had it out of the fridge for 15 minutes. It says it should be drank at 10 degrees Celsius. And I think we're pretty much spot on. Now, Pilsners, I would have thought that drinking it around about the 7 degrees Celsius or 8 degrees Celsius would be a nice cold drinking temperature for a refreshing, thirst-quenching lager, Pilsner anyway. But it does say 10 degrees Celsius, so that's roughly what I've got it at now. It's pouring beautiful, crystal clear, not perfectly straw golden. There is some malt coloration to it. Lovely glass, this is fantastic glass. Okay, so have a little look at the bottle there. And Stortebeker is named after this pirate. It's kind of like a pirate guy. That's Nikolaus Stortebeker, the pirate. Whatever, that's a bit gimmicky. That's fine. This beer's won 3 golds, and I can already smell a hop bitterness. Very, very interesting hop bitterness coming from this beer. Let's pop that down for a minute and let's give this a look-see. Nice rocky head to the beer. Rocky head, little bit of lacing going on there already, I can see. So there's a decent amount of stability. Good medium carbonation coming off the beer. It's effervescing quite well. It's not perfectly straw golden colour. There is a tiny bit of malt colour coming through there as well. But it is like 100% crystal clear. I can see absolutely every bubble that's rising up through this. So for making a very good clarity in this beer, they're going to get a good mark from me from that anyway. Decent head on top. Anyway, Prost, cheers, Sloncha, all that good stuff. Let's see if this Stortebeker, what a glass this is. Look at that glass. It's like some sort of horn. I don't know what it is meant to be. Anyway, let's give us a go. I think I'll drink it from this side. Wow, that's got a decent amount of bitterness and a decent amount of malt. It's just the first 2 things that come to my mind when I'm drinking that. So German German lagers, they have that bitterness about them, those really sort of traditional style hops that you get in German beers. And, you know, it gives you this like really sort of full bitterness at the back of the mouth that really sort of resonates through you and grows on the palate as you're drinking it. And it's a strong bitterness, so very much in the vein of a German Pilsner as opposed to a Czech Pilsner. However, what I'm also noting is that there's a decent element of maltiness to this beer as well. So I'm wondering if they haven't just used Pilsner and maybe they've added another malt to it as well. It does say that there are, is that 4 hops in this beer? It's 4.9%, and it says that there is Select, Pearl, Tradition, and Opal. Now, Pearl is a hop that I know a little bit about. Pearl has this kind of herby, almost minty-like bitterness to it. And it's a very, very traditional German hop. Like an older style hop. You know, in England we call that like a Fuggles, but in terms of how traditional it is. But Pearl is one of those hops in Germany that's been around since the 70s, the 80s. So I know that much from it at least. Opal, yeah, I'm not really sure about Select, Tradition. Yeah, Tradition I've tried a few times. What else does it say about the beer? Everything is written in German, so it's very hard for me to make much out from it. But it is in a nice pint version, so you can drink a decent amount of it. I looked up online actually, this beer, and this is surprising, this beer costs 89 cents a pint, is what I can see it at on the Stortebeker, on their website. So 89 cents for this beer, which is absolutely incredible when you think of just how high a quality Pilsner this is. I mean, I guess it's to do with the amount of production. The brewery is probably a very big brewery, serving a very large part of, you know, Germany, Scandinavia, all those sort of different countries, and worldwide as well. I know that they make mineral water, they make different beverages, all different kinds of beverages, not just beer. So it's interesting brewery. This brewery, I think, is gone through several name changes as well, and it's, you know, the tradition in that area of Stralsund, I think it's called, or Stralsund, I think it is, goes back 800 odd years ago. So that, you know, the brewing tradition is absolutely incredible. Let's have another little taste this, see what I can get on the aroma. It is herbal on the nose. Like herbal, perhaps a touch of spice and a very slight mild lemon sort of aroma coming too as well. But the flavour is just crisp and it's dry. The bitterness dries the beer out, which I really like. And that, I think, is a signature of German Pilsners, is that because they're using lighter malts, they're ending up with a beer that has less malt character. Therefore, the amount of bitterness that you have in the beer can then shine a bit higher, and therefore that makes the beer even drier still, as well as the malt being more fermentable. So So German Pilsners do that, and I can, already my tongue is like so dried out that I'm parched. I need another swig of the beer. So, and yet it's not a light-bodied beer. This is a medium-bodied beer. It's got a graininess to the texture. Like I can really rub my tongue to the roof of my mouth and get extra sort of flavor out of this beer, which you couldn't get from say an American light lager, which is just really watery. This has a decent amount of backbone to it, so there is a bit of maltiness going on, but it's grainy. And what are the hops like? The hops are very much subdued in flavor and aroma. There's a small bit of herbal on the aroma, but the flavor is all just about the taste of bitterness as opposed to the flavor of any kind of hop coming through. If I had to pin it down to something, I would say very mildly floral, but much more in the herbal sort of range of hop in bitterness. A really enjoyable beer. I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter bodied, and I was expecting the bitterness to be slightly lower levels. But I think the German palate has probably evolved to the point where they want a strong bitterness and a decent amount of maltiness so that it doesn't, the bitterness doesn't overtake it. So yeah, really interesting beer, thoroughly enjoyable. It's a Pilsner. You don't expect a Pilsner to have multiples of different facets to it, but I think in terms of stylistically, it's brewed exactly how a Pilsner beer from Germany should be. And look at that, when I spin it back up, I straight away get the head back going again, and the carbonation is still there. So decent carbonation, a little bit effervescent, very zingy bitterness on the tongue. So very, yeah, the bitterness is very strong in this beer, but I like it. So that gets a hat tip from me. The glass just tops the whole thing off as well. So prost to the glass. Love the glass, love the beer. That's the first one. And as soon as I finish this beer in a bit, I'm going to move on to the Bernstein Weizen, which is another beer from Stortebeker Brewery. So that'll be a part two of this selection of beers that have been sent by Jurgen. Cheers, Jurgen. Thanks very much. And we'll see what the next beer tastes like. And it's on to the next one. Yeah, I almost forgot. Anyway, great beer. That's my view on this brew. And it's on to the next one. Bye.